Boss Rush 860 day 4. So this day's not too bad, but it's a slow and tedious grind because the last fight has leftover enemies after an artillery strike. Our good farm days for the week are going to be day 3 or day 1, with day 3 being the bit better one. So go check out the video for that if you're looking for your best farming day. It's not going to be day 4 though. So for this we have Xaril as the first boss, which gets solved by Rattlegore basically. Because the Sinister Strikes just all target Rattlegore if he's the lowest health, so you pretty much don't have to worry about your incoming damage. You just need a way to kill Xaril, and then on the last boss, you're going to be facing 2 enemies. So we have Balinda Stonehearth and a leftover ad from the Garrosh fight. For that fight, because it's 2 enemies and you can't just stick them behind a counter rune, the cheapest and most effective way to deal with that is probably just going to be Alex's Dragon Queen's Gambit here, because they're going to have like 150,000 health. So they also get like 10,000 or 7 to 10,000 attack. So in 10 to 15 casts of Dragon Queen's Gambit, you can kill them, but it obviously takes a while. And then you need to stop their incoming damage. So you have Shadow Spells from the Garrosh ad, and you have the Frostburn cast at 7 speed from Balinda. So we just need to be able to stop those, and the easiest way to do that is just going to be the Frost Ritual treasure from Varden. So you just cast Frost Ritual, cast something that is 4 speed or slower, but faster than the enemies, or the same speed as the enemies, and freeze both of them every turn. So Alex can do that with these 5 speed attacks here, and there is a 5 speed attack from the Garrosh ad, so you're going to need somebody else to be able to shoot that faster. At least on the first turn. I think it has a cooldown though, so you're probably fine with Alex being able to stop that. Since both these have a cooldown, you can't act at 5 speed on turn 1, but I think that ability also has 1 cooldown, so it's probably fine. So Alex should be able to lock down the Garrosh ad, and then Balinda just has 7 speed attacks, so you know, Genn's Space Maker is good enough for that. Or Rattlegore, who will be back to life after the first fight. You can use his Bone Flame to stop somebody at 4 speed if you do use him to solve Xaril. There's other options for beating Xaril. You don't have to use Rattlegore, but you could use Rattlegore in something other than Deathwing if you haven't invested in Destroy All Life. You could just use Rattlegore to tank the Sinister Strikes and then just kill him with like Varden, or even Varden and Alex. Xaril does have an attack that will hit left and right. It's the Outcast attack, the Illidan skill. So you're going to need to deal with that too if you decide to fight him normally. But we're just going to use the Deathwing Rattlegore strategy. So destroy all life if you've got enough damage here to kill Xaril and the ads. And then that'll reactivate off Rattlegore, while Rattlegore also provides you safety from Sinister Strike. And then I'm just using Eudora to bounce herself out of the way. And I'm using the Primed Armaments equipment there for that. So let me just go over the equipment real quick. We've got Rattlegore with Rattling Bones, Deathwing with whatever. I'm just using Resolve of Undying. Primed Armaments on Eudora. Band of Frost on Varden. I'm using the Dragonflight Talisman on Alex, but it shouldn't matter too much. Just do not use the one that speeds up the Dragon Queen's Gambit, because that will mess up your ability to combo with Varden's treasure. And then I've got Gilnean's Strength on Genn. There's other comps too where you can use something other than Alex to kill the last boss, but it's going to be dependent on how much you have those abilities leveled up. So this one's just way more budget friendly, and it's just as fast as the other options. Other options would be like Medivh and Balinda, and with Balinda you can also use the Fire Elemental to get more activations of Varden's Frost Ritual, but those aren't really better than this, so I would just recommend going with Alex because it's a more one-size-fits-all approach that more people will be able to use. So let me jump into it here. Now, one of the biggest problems with this is that you're going to have to hit exactly the Frost Ritual treasure on Varden, and you only get 1, maybe 2 rolls at that because we kill off Deathwing. So you might get a reroll on Varden, but the odds aren't too great. So you need to hit Artillery Strike, and you also need to hit that specific treasure on Varden. So in the interest of hitting that without it taking too many tries, the Deathwing comp is the fastest way to beat Xaril, because it's only 2 turns and a few actions. So all we do is summon a cannon here, and this positioning does matter because Xaril has that left and right attack that he could use next turn. So he's not using it here, so we'll be fine. So all we have to do now is destroy all life and bounce Eudora out of the way, and then we're going to restart the client here. So we should come back to Deathwing being dead and everyone else alive with our treasures ready for us.
Come on in. You're gonna be excited to see who's here.
So those other comps, like the Medivh or Balinda ones, they're just relying on Varden's Band of Frost to ramp with the Frost Ritual, and then eventually kill the enemies with Frost damage. Alright, so we need an Artillery Strike. Alright, got one. And now we still need to hit the Frost Ritual. Those other comps, also if you use Medivh, you can use his birds, and they can ramp your arcane damage, and also activate the Frost. So those options will work, but they're dependent on you having a lot of damage on your Varden. It's also a lot more actions to kill the enemies. So I think in terms of overall time, the Alex comp is the fastest. Okay, so we did hit the Frost Ritual here. So this one should be a win. And out of all of Alex's treasures, this Alexstrasza's game one is probably the best, but most people won't really have anything in it. But it will speed up your run a little bit if you do have a few points in that, since it scales their attack even further. Okay, so we just need Varden and Alex, and then we need someone else that can shoot the enemies at 4 speed. So I'm just going to use Rattlegore for that. Anything that's 4 or slower, but faster or equal speed to the enemies would work here. Okay, so you usually get a summon here. I think you can freeze that. So let me just shoot there, and then... Oh, you can't target it. Okay. So that's going to get summoned, but that's fine. We just want to freeze this guy here. And make sure you always act first with Varden. That's why I positioned them on the left. Okay, so Frost Ritual. And then I can just let this swing at me. So I can go ahead and get my Gambit shot here. And then I'll just shoot at Balinda. I believe you could also just Cold Snap if you have 50 damage. Okay, and we got Crestfallen here, so we do need to kill this off so it doesn't swing into us after we get set to 1 HP. And these shouldn't really matter, so I'll just shoot the 5 speed here, and we'll kill that thing off with Rattlegore. Okay, so now we just freeze them both every turn. And I'm going to put the Gambit into that same guy so we can get rid of one of the targets and have less animations. Okay, so it should just be the same thing over and over again. So make sure you don't use Alex's 6 speed to try to freeze a 5 speed attack. Alright, next turn should kill the Garrosh ad here. Embodied Despair. Alright, and now we just have Balinda. And I could use like Flurry, but it doesn't do that much damage. So all that really matters is Alexstrasza. If you wanted to, though, you could like Flurry there, and then just use your extra attack to kill the ad that's summoned. So like I could do this. You don't get any ramp at this point, though, and this isn't scaled super big yet because it doesn't take all that many turns. So now I can just Frost Ritual and shoot this here. So make sure you have enough damage to kill the 50 HP ads, if you do let them summon. I'm just going to keep doing this, though. And I guess the extra shot from Alex isn't that great if you're not going to rely on the frost damage. So you could just skip if Alex doesn't have the Dragon Queen's Gambit available. You just pass with her. Save the animation time. It'll take you more turns if you do it this way, but it's fewer actions. And same thing on these turns, you could just act with Varden and Alex instead of shooting with Rattlegore. If you don't care about the frost ramp. Alright, couple more turns of this. Just freezing every turn. You can even just do an Ice Lance. And then one more should do it after this. Alright, so got to use Alexstrasza for a change. Pretty much the only time we trot out Alexstrasza is when we have Omega buffed enemies left over from Artillery Strike. But it is a good use for her. So not too bad, 28 turns. A lot of just like passing and only doing a couple actions. You just have to hit this Frost Ritual Treasure, which is the toughest part. And if you, like I said, if you don't have your Deathwing Destroy All Life leveled up to deal with Xaril, you can just use Rattlegore and somebody else. Probably Eudora would work fine, and then just use someone who does good enough damage in this slot. You could potentially use Varden for that, so then you have like an extra party slot. And then you also have the option, if you didn't want to use Alexstrasza, you could use Balinda or Medivh in some capacity to kill the last boss there. So that's day 4, and so far day 3 seems to be the best farm, so go check out that video if you're looking for the farm, and good luck on your runs.